In this class, we are going to learn how to make use of OCI Signature 1 security policy in the REST adapter in our Oracle Integration 3 instance. I am here in the official documentation page for Oracle Integration 3. From the table of content, I have gone to create REST adapter connection, and then we have to click on the prerequisites for creating a connection. So under the prerequisites, we can click on OCI Signature version 1, and here Oracle has documented the details which we need in order to make use of this OCI Signature 1 security policy while configuring the REST adapter connection. You can have a look at this documentation for more details. Now I will go to my integration instance. Suppose if you want to create a generic OCI connection, then you have to override the endpoint within your integration during the invocation. Because if I show you one of the APIs over here, but is for the object storage service, if you look at the endpoints for the OCI, suppose if you are creating one OCI connection that is to connect to object storage, then the URL will change. Suppose if you are creating a generic URL with oraclecloud.com, then it is your responsibility during the invocation, you have to update this URL within your mapper so that you can create a single connection and change the endpoints at the runtime, like how we have studied in our earlier classes. For this demonstration, I will create one connection OCI REST con, but we will connect to the object storage API. I will search for the REST over here. Click on this and we will name this as OCI REST con. Always make sure if you're not creating a generic connection, then name as per the resource what you're consuming over here. In this case, I'm consuming OCI object storage, then I can name this as OCI object storage. I will select trigger and invoke both kind of role I want for this connection. Click on create. Our connection has been created successfully. My OCI tenancy is in the Ashburn region. What I will do is, I will first of all get the endpoint for the object storage from here, object storage service. I will search for the Ashburn from here. So it's over here. Let me just copy the URL and paste it over here in the REST API base URL, connection URL. And from the security policy, I will select OCI Signature version 1. There is one more method, OCI service invocation. I will touch upon this concept at later point of time in this class. If you are going for the OCI service connection, then we don't want to configure anything. It's very simple. All the configuration will be on the OCI side, that is in the policy. I will come to this at the end of this class. As of now, I will select OCI Signature version 1. Now, when we select OCI Signature 1, we need the tenancy OCID, user OCID, private key, and the fingerprint. Most importantly, the fingerprint is the key thing while connecting to any API in the OCI. If we look at the documentation over here, Oracle has mentioned in detail the steps how we can generate the key and get the fingerprint. We will follow the same. Now, in order to get the tenancy OCID, user OCID, private key, and the fingerprint, we have to navigate to our Oracle Cloud Infrastructure console. I have logged into my OCI console over here, and my tenancy is in the Ashburn region. Now, in order to generate the key for my user, I will click on the profile. I will click on the user over here. Once we have clicked on the user, it will navigate straight into our identity and security. Now, in order to get those details like the tenancy, user, and the private key, we have to click on this token and key. Click on this. There is this section which says API key. We have to click on the add API key over here in order to generate the fingerprint for our connection. Click on this. As soon as you click on this, there are three options. One option is we will allow Oracle to create the key pair, that is private and the public key. We need the private key over here in order to create this connection successfully. So what we will do is we will download both the files which Oracle has created, that is by clicking on download private key and public key. Most importantly, we are interested in the private key and not the public key in order to create the connection. So there are other ways. Suppose if you tell that I don't want Oracle to create the key pair, rather I will create the key pair, then you can choose this option, that is public key, that you can upload, or you can even paste the content of the public key by selecting this paste a public key. Now, as we have downloaded both the files, it's over here, both the files. We will try to rename this shortly. I will click on add. As soon as you click on add, Oracle will give the details, something like this. Copy this to the notepad. Fingerprint also, it will generate in a separate section over here. Also, it will have a fingerprint details over here as well. This is nothing but the config file details. If you are making use of OCI CLI, then this content you have to paste in the config file, like how we have seen in the case of OCI functions in our earlier classes. I will click on this copy and I will paste in the notepad. That is over here. We have generated or downloaded the key pair. Now once we have generated the API key, we can click on close. You have to make sure that you download the private and the public key when you create the API key, because if you want to download later, if you click on this view configuration file, Oracle won't give you the access to download the files anymore. So it's a one-time opportunity for you to download the files. So this is the main thing you have to note. I will click on close. So these are the files which we downloaded while creating the API key. Let me rename those files to some meaningful name. I will name this as public key, OCI public key. And I will name this to, sorry, this is our private key, not the public key. I will rename this to private key. And this one is our public key. Public key will have suffix called underscore public. So with this, we can make out that it is a public key and the other one is a private key. So it's your choice whether you want to rename or not. I have renamed those files and kept in one of the folders in my computer. Now let's come back to our connection. That's over here. We need the tenancy OCID. So we can copy the tenancy OCID from here. While generating the API key, the fingerprint what we got, it will have all those details. I will paste it over here. Coming to the user OCID. So user OCID is nothing but it is for the profile for which you have generated the API key. I will paste it over here. Fingerprint I will upload. That is over here. Fingerprint. I will paste it over here. Now I will upload the private key. Click on choose file. Our private key is over here. Select this and click on open. Click on upload. If you have generated the PEM key, that is the PEM file or the private key with some security with the passphrase, then you have to mention it over here. We did not provide any password or the passphrase, so we can leave this empty. Click on test. Now ideally, when you upload the PEM file, your integration won't work. So this is documented in this documentation page by Oracle. That is, if you try to upload the PEM file as is when it is generated from the OCI console, the private key will be in PKC SC8 format. But for integration, it should be in the RSA PKCS1 format. So you can convert your private key, that is to the PKCS1 format using these steps. Now we are having a simple command in order to convert the PKCS8 file to the PKCS1 format file. That is over here. Now this command will work in any of the computers, whether you are running the Linux, Apple or Windows. That is SSH keygen and our private key name. We have named our file, that is OCI private key over here. It should be sufficient. It is having some command which will convert that to the PKCS1 format. I will go to the folder and I can search over here the CMD. So you can start the CMD. Now I will paste this command and click on enter. If you look at the timestamp, it will change when we run this command. Click on enter. It says identification has been saved. Let me just see. The timestamp has been changed to 9:49. Earlier it was 9:44. That means we have generated the RSA file in PKCS1 format. Now this is the file we need to upload over here. Otherwise at runtime you will get this error. At runtime you will get this error. Now I will try to upload our new file. Choose the file. So over here, select this, click on upload. Done. Click on test. And click on save. Now like this, we can create the OCI connection, that is to connect to any of the resources in the OCI using the OCI Signature version 1 in Oracle Integration 3. We will try to connect to the object storage and try to get the object which we have stored in the object storage, that is using this API. And this is the relative URI for this API to get the object or to download the object. For demonstration purpose, I have uploaded the file in my object storage, that is in the bucket. I will show you. This is my bucket, BL bucket. And I have uploaded the invoice copy over here. Now the invoice copy, the file look something like this. I will open the sample invoice. So this is the sample invoice I got from the Google and I have uploaded the same to the OCI bucket. Basically it is the invoice and it is in PDF format. Now I will show you with the integration how it leverages this OCI connection that is the OCI Signature version 1 security, and gets the object from the object storage by making use of this connection. This is the integration which I have created, that is OCI get object int. I will show you the actions which I have added in this integration in order to call the object storage API using the connection which we created just now. Now basically, in order to get the object from the object storage, we need three things. One is the namespace name, bucket name, and the object name. Object name is nothing but it is the file name that is over here, and the bucket name also we can see bucket name is nothing but it is BL bucket. Namespace we will get from here. Suppose if you don't know how we can get, easiest way is click on the object which you want to download, click on the object details. Here you will get the entire thing, like after N it's a namespace, after B it's a bucket name, after O it's object name. So this is how you can get the details for your object. Now I have populated all the things like the bucket name, object name, and the namespace, and I will click on run. And in the response I should be getting the PDF file. I have uploaded the invoice file which is of type PDF. Now if you see, it's a PDF. I am returning the binary content in the response of this integration. Suppose if you want to write this to FTP or anywhere, you can write and you can verify that it is the PDF content or the PDF file it is returning. Now let me walk you through the integration. This is the very simple integration I have built over here. It's having only two steps or the actions. One is the trigger and one is the invo. I have exposed over the REST protocol and it is expecting three parameters. One is the namespace, other one is the bucket name, and next is the object name. Here I am trying to call the get object from this object storage API. I will open this invocation wizard. Here I have given the same relative URI as it is mentioned over here in the documentation. And I have told I want to get the response. In our case, response is nothing but it is the file content. I am trying to return the binary file as is what we get from the API. That's it with this invocation. If you look at the connection I have used, it's a OCI_REST connection which we created just now. In the mapper, all the three parameters what we are sending to integration, we are mapping to this connection, that is the invocation for getting the object from the object storage. So this is how I have mapped, that is the namespace, bucket, and the object. Suppose if you have created a generic connection, then it is your responsibility, that is to override the base URL with the object storage URL that is based on the region from where your object storage is residing. In my case, it's the Ashburn. In my case, I have not created the generic connection, rather the Ashburn object storage connection URL, that is a base URL I have provided in the connection during the time of configuration. So this is how my integration is built. The response, whatever we get from the get object API, we are sending as is as a response over here. With the latest releases, that is from 25.02, 25.04, you can see that few of the actions are built into the integration canvas over here. Suppose if you want to call the object storage, you don't have to create the separate REST connection making use of OCI Signature version 1. Suppose if your integration as well as the object storage are residing in the same domain in the same tenancy, then you can make use of this object storage action over here. You can drag and drop the action, something like this. Here you have to just mention the name and you have to select the operation. I will tell get object, and from the manage we have to tell manage objects, as we are not managing the bucket, rather I am interested in only downloading the object. I will select download objects. Then you can select the compartment, whatever compartment you have, then you are good to go. So this is one more way and the easiest way you can use. But suppose if you are trying to get the object from the tenancy or from the domain which is not linked with your Oracle integration 3 domain or the tenancy, then this is how you can connect over the HTTPS or the REST protocol. Apart from object storage, suppose if you want to connect to other resources like the function, you can see that there is a dedicated OCI function action over here. Also in the AI services, there is a document understanding. There could be more number of actions added by Oracle in coming days. That is to call the OCI AI resources or to call the OCI developer resources like the functions, API, gateway, object storage, so on and so forth. But at the time of recording this class, we are seeing just a couple of them over here. So this is how you can create the REST connection by leveraging the security, that is OCI Signature version 1 in Oracle integration 3 instance. Now there was one topic which I have told I will take up at the end of this class, that is In the connection, apart from OCI Signature version 1, we are having one more security policy. Using that also, you can talk to your resources on the cloud. That is OCI service invocation. Suppose if you select this, you won't see any other properties you have to populate over here, because the reason is mentioned over here. Suppose if you are going for the OCI service invocation, then you have to do a thing in the integration connection configuration level. All the thing will come in the IEM in the OCI. Basically, you have to go to the Oracle Cloud Services, and then you have to get the client ID for your integration instance. So you have to navigate to the default domain or the domain where we have configured your OIC instance or provisioned your instance. Basically, for the integration instance, the client ID will be generated. That is, the confidential application will be created by Oracle at the time of provisioning. You can get the client ID by navigating to Oracle Cloud Service and then to your particular integration instance. Just copy the client ID. Then you have to create a dynamic group. Then you have to tell whatever resource ID which is matching the client ID that is over here is part of this dynamic group. Then what you have to tell is you have to allow in the policy, that is to manage all the resources in the particular compartment that is for that particular dynamic group. With this, you can make use of OCI service invocation, and we can leverage the OCI policy, that is to talk to all the resources in the OCI which are sitting in that particular compartment. Like that, you can add a number of policies as per your use case, and you can access any resources on the OCI. You don't have to worry about adding the API keys, creating the API keys, and managing all those things. So this is a very straightforward and easy way to connect to Oracle Cloud infrastructure.